Kamani, what are we making today?
Tofu tacos.
So maybe Kamani, you can tell us why you chose this recipe, a vegan recipe.
We were trying something different, and I just wanted to share it.
So is this your first vegan recipe?
No. Yeah.
You've eaten vegan stuff before. We wanted to try and become vegan. Do you remember that?
First, because we're doing tacos today, I wanted to show you how I use, first of all, Haley, a few weeks ago, you made your sweet potato black bean burgers. Do you remember that? So I wanted to circle back around and show you how you can take leftovers to make really fun stuff, especially for taco night. So I made refried beans using sweet potatoes and black beans. Some nice little things you could do with some of the leftovers you have in your fridge. If you don't want to make a burger, you can make refried beans, and they're really good. Kamani, let's go with step one. What do we do first?
Place the rack in the upper third of the oven and preheat the boiler.
All right, so let's preheat the broiler real fast.
Too high or low?
The rack or the temperature?
Temperature.
It's high. Broil is hotter than 500 degrees, and it makes the top of the oven very hot. If you don't have a broiler function, just put it on 450 or 500. It's going to accomplish something similar. All right, Kamani, what do we do now?
In a large mixing bowl, whisk together 1 tablespoon of olive oil, soy sauce, and all powder seasonings.
So we're going to mix together our olive oil, soy sauce, and all of the what? The powder seasonings?
Yes. You hear these all plus together.
So what we're going to do, we're going to measure out each powder and put it in a separate bowl if you can. Kamani, what's the first thing we're going to measure out? A teaspoon of what?
Olive oil.
If you don't have olive oil, you can use a plain vegetable oil.
Is it 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons?
You use one first, and then the other one is for later.
No.
Okay, you're gonna mix it.
And how much of the soy
Tablespoon.
sauce?
A tablespoon.
A tablespoon of soy sauce?
A question.
Yes.
So typically when I work with tofu, you have to drain it. So with this recipe, would you drain it first?
It depends. So because you're cooking it in a sauce, you don't really have to worry about it. But if we're going to roast it in the oven or grill it, you'd want to drain it. Otherwise, you get water splattering, which could be a fire hazard as well. All right, we're going to measure our powders. Kamani, what powders do we put in first?
Teaspoon of chipotle chili powder.
If you don't have chili powder, you can use paprika with maybe a dash of cayenne for spice. I think it was Diamond's mom asked me if there's a substitute for chipotle. Linda, what did you buy instead of chipotle? What are you using?
Today I'm gonna end up just using that smoked paprika.
Does anybody know what a chipotle is?
A chipotle is a smoked jalapeno.
All right, and now we have what? What's the next thing?
A cumin.
We need a cumin. And Kamani, what comes after the cumin?
Half a teaspoon of garlic powder.
And after the onion powder?
A half a teaspoon of garlic powder.
So Kamani, what are we supposed to do with the oil and the powders?
Mix it all together.
Okay. In a large mixing bowl, we're going to whisk together all of our powders and our oil. So what is next on our list?
You need to crumble the tofu into small pieces in a bowl and toss together with a spatula to thoroughly combine.
Exactly. We're going to crumble our tofu into small pieces in a bowl and toss together with a spatula to thoroughly combine. And Kamani, this is wonderful because a lot of times people cube it and it looks too exact. If you crumble it, it looks more like real chicken and you get these little crispy edges. So Kamani, do you crumble yours into little pieces or large pieces? Let's see your bowl. Okay, yeah, so it's sort of medium size.
Heat the remaining teaspoon oil in a large oven-proof skillet. large enough to hold the tofu and beans over one layer over medium-high heat.
So let me ask you a question. Once you you crumble the tofu, we actually ended up cubing ours. But once you do that, it says instruction number 3 says toss together with a spatula to thoroughly combine. I'm assuming that you mix it with the now the wet and dry ingredients that have been mixed.
Yeah, so you whisk together the powders, spice powders,
Yep.
with the oil. Mix it like this. Your crumbles might be larger or smaller than mine,
Okay.
according to preference. Then you're going to heat the remaining tablespoon of oil on the heat. And again, I never really measure. The rule of thumb is you just want a tiny bit of oil to cover the bottom and then heat it up.
Do we drain the beans?
Yeah, so when you open up your can, drain your beans so they're ready to go. If you like the bean liquid, you can actually keep it in the sauce. It'll make it sort of, help thicken the sauce. So don't worry about it if you have liquid in there. It's very good for you anyway. All right, my pan's hot, so I'm going to add my tofu. Kamani, what's next on your list?
Add the tofu crumbles to the hot skillet and cook stirringly periodically until the liquid has evaporated about 5 minutes.
When you stick your tofu in, you should hear it sizzle. If you don't hear it sizzle, the pan's not hot enough. Now, my tofu doesn't have much liquid in it, so if you think your tofu is going to start scorching, you could add a little bit of water and it'll help cook the tofu without scorching it. Kamani, what's next on your list while our tofu cooks? Make sure you keep it on medium-low heat.
And the next you stir in the black bean salsa and nutrition yeast and cook until warm through and the liquid has evaporated for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Now, for those of you who don't have nutritional yeast or don't like it or are not vegan, you can add Parmesan cheese. Who here cooks with nutritional yeast? Do you like nutritional yeast?
I do. We use it for a lot of different stuff. Actually, Eden, I made popcorn for her earlier before we started, and I always put nutritional yeast in the popcorn as opposed to, because I use like a popper, and the butter melts the popper, and then I don't like, the salt doesn't seem to stick properly. So like when I do olive oil, nutritional yeast, and the salt in combination, it sticks really well and it has a good flavor to it.
We using all types of different stuff when we were on our vegan challenge, and we still do.
Like
What
in
do you use it in?
soup, we put in soup, pasta sauce, like tomato sauce sometimes. We made like some vegan mac and cheese.
And also we made like this type of cheese sauce.
All right, Kamani, what's next on our list?
Next, you want to place the skillet over the oven directly under the boiler and boil until the next mixture turns golden brown. Be careful not to scorch the top.
Here's another question. Did everybody use olive oil? The reason I ask is olive oil is really good for you, but it's expensive. And a lot of the olive oils are sort of a scam. So a lot of times I use avocado oil instead, and it's just as good for you as olive oil, but it's, depending on the oil, it's cheaper, just as good for you, and it has a higher smoke point, so it's more versatile when you fry with it. The trick to these olive oils, and this is a really good tip, I never buy an olive oil that just has a best by date on it. I only buy olive oils that have a harvest date, literally a harvest date on them. Best by dates are worthless. You can be eating a 3-year-old olive oil, and if you're going to spend the money, you want it to be less than a year old. And the other thing is, I look at the harvest date, and if it was over a year ago, I don't buy it either. I think we've got to go take our skillet out. Make sure you use your pot holder, stir it before you put it back in. Smells fabulous. Kamani, how many more minutes do we put it in?
Well, I did 2 minutes until it was golden.
All right, while we wait, what do you guys like to put on your tacos? Eden, what do you put on your tacos?
Eden's very picky. She's not a tomato person.
Well, I do like to put every now and then some lettuce and cilantro, cucumber, bit of corn.
Diamond,
Yeah.
how about you? What do you put on your tacos?
Put cheese, lettuce, sour cream, and tomatoes.
What about you, Haley? What do you put on yours?
I put sour cream, tomatoes, cheese, lettuce, and of course meat.
Who puts guacamole on their tacos?
I do.
Kamani, what do you put on your tacos?
I just put salsa, cheese, and lettuce.
Mine is exactly the same as Kamani. Lettuce, cheese, tomatoes, and salsa. Keep it very simple.
I have some salsa here. I'm actually mixed in with the tomatoes. I mix mangoes because it's still summertime. All right, let's check those taco fillings. Let's get it out of the oven, and then I'm gonna put together a taco for you. I'll show you a trick. When you take your skillet out, it's gonna be hot and it's easy to forget. I've burned myself so many times. So take your pot holder and always put it on a hot handle just to remind yourself that it's still hot. So I'm gonna put together a taco for you. I got a couple tricks. Are you guys using hard taco shells or soft taco shells?
I have both. Which would you recommend?
I like both. I have hard, I've got soft, I've got nachos if you prefer nachos. I got flour tortillas for burritos. But one thing I couldn't wait to show you, and if you don't have this, they're not expensive, but there's two I like to use these for putting my little soft tacos in. But before I bought these, when I made them for the kids, I would get a muffin tin and
That's
flip it
smart.
upside down.
That is so
I'm just
brilliant.
Isn't that fun? I'm gonna put together one with the sweet potato filling, put tofu in one. I'm gonna get the skewer. I'm gonna take the other ones off the skewer. I don't like lettuce in my tacos, but maybe I'll put in a little of the sour cream and my mango tomato salsa, a little lime, and for Malia, a little jalapeno. And I'm gonna slice it very thin. Malia, do you like a few jalapenos or a lot?
I like a lot. I like spicy.
Well, in that case, I'm going to leave the seeds in there. Here's a trick with jalapenos. When you're slicing your jalapenos on the inside, you're going to see seeds and a white rib. The green part's not that spicy, but it has a nice green flavor. If you want the jalapeno flavor without the spice, take out the seeds and the white rib, and then just slice the green part. And what else? Kamani, remember we have the 4 principles in the kitchen?
Be clean, be safe, be precise, and don't forget to have fun.
We have some fun, festive workshops that we're going to be doing with you all. So everyone stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I look forward to seeing you all in our next workshop.
Kamani, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kamani.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Diamond. Bye, Eden.